and welcome back to another video. My name is Lisa Marie, and if you are new here, this channel is all about inspiration and living your best life. So you want to subscribe for more inspiring videos like this one. Lately I've been speaking with a lot of people about the current situation, what is going on in the United States and in the world with the pandemic still happening and the Black Lives Matters movement, and so many things just coming to the surface, like sexual assaults or sexual harassment happening and people being called out for it. And with all the people I've spoken to, there has always been this kind of sense of despair and frustration and sadness and kind of hopelessness and being paralyzed and not really know what to do. And a lot of people have told me that they struggle with staying positive and optimistic during these tough times, which I totally understand. I think we've all been there before, where it just seems hopeless and it's really, really hard not to get sucked into all this negative media and all those heartbreaking news. This is why I want to speak about how to stay positive and optimistic during tough times, because I have figured out some ways for myself to stay optimistic and to not lose hope and to still kind of work on my dream life and stay positive and kind of keep a positive mindset. And I want to share these tips or little mindset tricks with you today, hoping that they will help you as well, staying optimistic during tough times. One thing that has really helped me, and that has been such a game changer for me personally, has been to shift my perspective and really ask myself, is it really all negative or is there something positive in the situation? Let me explain. So regarding the Black Lives Matters movement, I've gotten so upset and frustrated and sad over what's going on in the United States, and I felt really upset about it. And I thought it was so negative, this whole thing that is happening, which is true. The way Black people are treated in the United States and all over the world is horrendous. However, I shifted my perspective and focus on the positive, which is happening right now. We could look at the Black Lives Matters movement and get really upset about the way people are treated, but we could also look at it and say, it's been like this for centuries, and now finally people are working towards change. People are standing up, talking about it, shedding light on it, making it transparent to the world. So the things that make us upset about this whole movement, the way people are being treated, has been there for centuries and centuries. However, it's only now that it's come to a lot of people's attention. And nowadays I see this whole movement a lot more positive, because I'm like, finally there is change. Finally people are speaking up and talking about it and working towards changing it. And this is how I've been able to deal with this. Whenever I see something about it on social media, I still get upset that people are still being treated that way, but at least it's come to my attention now, and it's come to many people's attention, and we are talking about it and changing it. So nowadays I really look at the change and the progress that's there, and still acknowledge what is going on and that people have been treated that way and being treated that way, but focusing on finally changing it and doing my part. The same applies to the pandemic. Initially, I was super upset about it, that I had to kind of leave the United States, go back home, being forced to have a break basically, and not really living life on my terms. But then I really shifted my perspective and focused on the positives. This pandemic gave me a lot of time to work on myself, to reflect, and to really plan my next steps, and to relax and take a step back and bring a lot of stillness into my life, which was much needed. And I was only being made aware of that through the pandemic. So if you were forced, so if you ended up having more time, or you were forced to leave your job or move homes or deal with more introspection right now, then don't see the negative, but see it as an opportunity to grow, and like leaving your job might lead you to finding a better one, or leaving your home made you aware of all the things that you didn't like about your home, and then once you have a new home, you can build a home that you actually love. Or all this introspection can really help you to work on yourself, learn so much about yourself to become a better person and the person that you always wanted to be. You can also become aware of what has been holding you back and what has been keeping you from living your best life. Sometimes it can be very disheartening to read the news. So really try to spend only a certain amount of time consuming media, consuming the news, informing yourself. Of course, you want to stay up to date, but you shouldn't be reading the news all day, every day, because that's just going to upset you and make you feel very sad about what's going on in the world. So set yourself a time limit of 10 minutes or 15 minutes to read the news, and then let it go. So focus on the positive in every situation. In most situations, there is something positive. Obviously, I'm a realist. There are situations where there isn't really anything positive in it. Then you need to accept that. But as a first step, you should always look for the positive and see the transformation that is happening, which more often than not will lead to something better. And that leads me to my second point, which is figuring out whether you can change something about the situation or if you cannot. And if you can change something about the situation, then obviously put in the work, change the situation to a better one, and to make changes, improve the situation, and just put in the action, put in the work. However, as I said earlier, some situations are negative and there isn't really much that you can do about it. In those situations, just try to accept it and let it go. Those situations can be a chance for you to practice resilience and to learn to accept things for the way they are, and to really work on your adaptability, because adaptability is such an important skill to have. It is nowadays considered one of the most important traits or skills to have in business and in life in general. Because if you look at the evolution and nature, those species that have survived are the ones that were able to adapt. And if you know Charles Darwin, who has been researching development and evolution, then you know that he used to value adaptability massively. And there's even a quote that says, "It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change." That's what Charles Darwin said. And I think it's really true in today's life still. And even if you look at business, in 2011, the Harvard Business Review published an article saying that adaptability is the new competitive advantage. So adaptability is such an important skill to have and to master. And actually you can only learn it if you are presented with situations that you cannot change and that are inherently, is that how you say it? Inherently? And that are inherently negative. Because in those situations, you are faced with something that you dislike, but you can't change it. So you have to practice resilience and to adapt to that change, because you can't change it. And you can only survive, if speaking in extreme terms, if you adapt to this new situation. However, I'm really a practical person and I just love to do things and put in the action, because that really helps me with coping with things. So I try to do something small in my life to make change in my life, to create a better life for myself and the people around me, for my community, to put a smile on somebody's face, to change something small that I have control over. If you change your world and you bring something good to your community and put a smile on someone's face and just share your beautiful light, then you're doing so much more than you think. Because you might not only brighten somebody's day, but you might be the catalyst for them to change as well and do their part. And then you are the beginning or the catalyst for more change in your community, which can then expand to a bigger community, your nation, your continent, and the world. So I really try to reprogram my mind towards action and change and transforming something, because that makes me feel much more positive about myself and about my life, but it actually also changes something. And it also makes you less susceptible to negative media, because if you put in the action and your mindset is really focused on growth and transformation, you become much stronger and positive, and then negative media won't impact you as much as it did before. Sometimes it's important to just take a break from everything. Unplug, detach, take a step back in order to be able to come back much stronger and to really make an impact. So put that computer away for some time, focus on yourself, and then come back and change your little community and your little world. On that note, try to unplug every now and again, because if you take a step back and don't spend all your time on social media and on the news, you will actually see the beauty in life and the beauty in your life, and that will help you to find your balance again, find your center, and come back much stronger, putting in the action and changing something with a very strong and positive mindset. So I try to surround myself with beauty and love and good people, because I do feel overwhelmed at times, and that's totally normal. That's okay, because I'm just human. We're all just human, so it's totally fine to feel overwhelmed. But to get out of that feeling again, try to surround yourself with good, with light, with fun, with joy, because that will bring you back to your center so that you can then get back into a positive mindset again. Another point that has really helped me over the past few weeks and months has been to believe that there is a plan, to believe that there is a divine plan happening and things are supposed to be that way. And I really try to believe, and I actually do believe, that there is something good coming from all of that is happening right now. Because as people say, you need rain for a rainbow. So there has to be something negative first. We have to go through something negative before we can appreciate the beauty that is coming from it. And transformation only happens if we deal with something negative and create something positive. So I really believe that we are not in a downward spiral, and that things will actually turn out to be a lot better once we are through this. So I really believe in a divine plan, and that we really had to go through this, that this is part of our journey and it is supposed to be that way. And it is fated, like it's a fated part of our journey, because without the things we are experiencing right now, we can't arrive at our destination where we are meant to arrive. So I really try to see everything that's happening right now as a necessary thing that has to happen, and I try to stay optimistic. And whenever it gets too overwhelming, I just try to detach from it, unblock, and just detach myself from everything that is happening for a second before I engage again. And on that note, always remember, life is cyclical. Life is a cycle, and we will get out of this, and we will get out of this much stronger and much more united as one big community, and joyous times are awaiting us. We just have to do the work right now. And this is what I believe in, and this is what inspires me and motivates me to put in the work and to stay very positive and optimistic. And that is it for this video. I really hope that these tips help you to stay positive during these tough times. I know it's not easy right now, but we will get through this as a community, a global community, and I know that we will get out of this much stronger. If you feel like it's really hard to stay positive and to keep a very optimistic mindset, reach out to people. Talk about it. Let yourself be overwhelmed, because you're human, but seek help. Speak with others. Talk to me. Reach out to me. You can find me here on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram. I'm always there to help people, but I hope that these tips are already helpful and help you in staying positive and optimistic. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for my channel for more inspiring videos like this one. And please also follow me on Instagram. On there, I talk about inspiration as well, and tips and tricks on how you can live your best life. So follow me there as well. And then I'm gonna see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.